सतगुर पूरे होई सर्ब कल्याण बंद पाया मेरे सतगुर पूरे होई सर्ब कल्याण साचा साहिब सब मेहरबान साचा बंद पाया मेरे सतगुर पूरे होई सर्ब कल्याण बंद पाया मेरे सतगुर पूरे होई सर्ब कल्याण हमरी गणत न गणिया कारी अपना बिरद पहचान हमरी गणत न गणिया कारी अपना बिरद पहचान हाथ तेरा के कर अपने सरसदा रंग मान हाथ तेरा के कर अपने सदा सदा रंग मान सदा सदा रंग मान सदा सदा रंग मान बंद पाया मेरे सतगुर पूरे होई सर्ब कल्याण बंद पाया मेरे सतगुर पूरे होई सर्ब कल्याण सच्चा साहिब सब मेहरबान सच्चा साहिब सब मेहरबान बंद पाया मेरे सतगुर पूरे होई सर्ब कल्याण बंद पाया मेरे सतगुर पूरे होई सर्ब कल्याण बंद पाया मेरे सतगुर पूरे होई सर्ब कल्याण
जय गुरु जी की। अब हम मंत्र जाप करेंगे। नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा Shiva
शिवजी सदा
जय गुरु जी की।
जय गुरु जी। अभी आरती शुरू होगी तो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट के सीनियर्स आगे आ जाएं और उनके पीछे सब लोग क्यू फॉर्म कर लीजिए। आरती एक ही बार प्ले होगी, इसलिए चार चार संगत एक साथ आरती कीजिएगा प्लीज। थैंक यू। जय गुरु जी।
सदा शिव आणि गांगी धारा
जय गुरु जी। आज के सत्संग के लिए गुरु जी का अनंतम अनंतम शुक्राना। अभी थोड़ी देर में लंगर प्रसाद शुरू होगा, so please be seated on the white sheets and do not step on the blue sheets. Blue sheets लंगर प्रसाद रखने के लिए हैं। For seniors we have table on the right hand side over there, just to make them feel comfortable. जो नई संगत आई हैं, we have a WhatsApp group. Again, the barcode is there on the right hand side, my right, your left. You can scan it and join the group for any updates. You can look for Guruji Mandir Toronto on Facebook, Insta, and on the website as well for any updates. There is a shuttle seva available. Those who are not part of that shuttle group, please join the group. Again, the barcode is there on the right hand side. In case you need shuttle seva, and also if you can provide shuttle seva. Temples will remain closed on May 21st and May 29th. and it's open on Guruji's Mahasamadhi Divas, May 31st from 6 p.m. onwards. कोई संगत अपना सत्संग शेयर करना चाहते हैं, प्लीज आइए.
Jai Guruji Maharaj, Shukrana Maharaj, thank you so much for coming and blessing all of us. As you say, blessings always, no matter what's happening in our lives. He is blessing us. I'm going to share how Maharaj initiated me as I was asked. And I'll try to make it brief, as Guruji says. I'll try my best. I was born in Iran, in an Islamic country, and I pretty much ever since I was a child, I was blessed by Maharaj to have many interesting mystical experiences. It started from 3 years old, but pretty much the most evident one was in 2003, when it was 6 years that we had left Iran, and before going to Iran, I was told by my mom that I couldn't go alone. I was in my early, I was 18, 19, 17. And she said I couldn't go. And she couldn't travel with me, no one could from the family. And of course, because of everything that's happening in Iran, she didn't feel safe for a young girl to go alone. And after the 4th or 5th argument, I heard a loud voice telling me to tell my mother that if I don't go to Iran and grandma passes away, I'll never forgive her. And the reason why grandma is very an important factor in my life is because grandma was always in Shukrana. I've never met a person like her. She's always been, she didn't speak much, but she was always in Shukrana, 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 Shukrana for every single thing. And I wasn't a planned child. Of course, we're all planned by Maharaj to be here, but I was not planned by my family. My mom was 4 months when she was pregnant with me. The whole incident of her keeping me was a satsang of its own, how she was going to an illegal, because Islamic country you can't do abortion, but she was going to inquire about how she could. She was only 20, she just had a baby, and my sister is 1 year older than me. And on the way, she hears a voice telling her not to do it, and so she returned back home. And I was pretty much raised by my grandma, so this is where grandma comes in. And being around such a soul who was always in Shukrana was so, it's always been your blessing, Maharaj. And so I always called for my mom. So when I left, when I was 13 from Iran to here, I literally cried for months because I obviously had left my mom. And so 6 years later, when I was in Canada and I hear a voice telling me to tell my mom that if I don't see grandma, I'll never forgive her, I didn't understand whose voice that was. I thought it was my own. I said it, and the mother that didn't allow me to go suddenly allowed me. An hour later, she said, yes, you can go. And I was on a plane, and I went to Iran alone. And that was July 2003. So Maharaj always has this fun puzzle, and it all connects later. No matter what's happening, nothing, as he said himself, nothing is a coincidence. When I come into your lives, everything, and of course even before that, he only knows how many lifetimes we've been with him, but every single thing in our lives, every single thing is his doing. And so I'm in Iran, and I go to my grandmother's house for the first time, and it was somewhat in the village sort of part of Tehran. And 4 in the morning, something wakes me up, and this happens to me often. I wake up, but I don't get up. I just close my eyes and I go back to bed. But that night, something was special, and I was pretty much, I woke up and I sat up. and we slept on the floor, and I sat up, and suddenly to my right side, I saw a bald-headed man inside my grandmother's house, standing in front of me, both hands like this, facing me, his body a bit tilted like this, because he was behind my grandmother's clothing closet, and he was just looking at me like this. But everything looked like Guruji Maharaj except one huge thing, which was hit the eyes. I didn't see his physical eyes. I just saw one vertical third eye. And for me, it wasn't the fact that I'm seeing a human being in front of me, because I had heard of a lot of ghost stories. Back then, it was like, we talked about ghosts all the time in Iran. But for me, the eyes it was so huge, and I just couldn't believe what I had seen, and I just covered myself, and I knew my family were never religious. We just believed in doing good, being good, being a human being. That's all we believed in. And I just covered myself, and I kept saying, please don't harm me. And I knew one mantra in Persian from the Quran, and I kept repeating that. And that's it. I knew that my grandma would wake up. She did 5 times prayers, the Islamic prayers. And I knew she would wake up early morning, so I just waited for her, and I waited, and it's so amazing that every time I tried to scream or say something, as if like a hand would just not allow me to. It just forced me to stay quiet. And the moment she woke up, I don't even know how I went from this side of I just was there. And I was like, look, Grandma, I was shivering, and I was crying, and I was like, look, there's a man in your house, like this, and I couldn't talk, and I was just like, there's a man in your house. And she just put her hands on my head, my shoulders, head, shoulders, and she's like, don't worry, he's always around me. And I was like, what? What do you mean, he's always around me? He's always around me. And I was like, Grandma, have I seen a ghost? And she was like, look, come, and she made me something to drink. And she just said, look, he's always with me, he's always around me, don't worry, it's okay. And it was something that, again, he didn't allow for it to be talked about much. Everything is in his hands, every single thing. What we think, what we do, what we wear, every single thing in our lives is decided by Maharaj. And it says it beautifully in the Shukrana. He's the cause of all causes. And so he didn't allow the conversation to go forward. And that was the last time that I went to her house. I didn't go there again. I just didn't understand what had happened. I needed time to grasp. No one could explain it to me. She didn't talk about it. Life moved on. End of July, I come back to Canada. 3 months later, my grandma passes away. If it wasn't for Guruji Maharaj, if he did not talk through me and tell my mother that if you don't allow me to go to Uranus, I would have suffered greatly in life. She was my mother. I lost my mother in 2003. But I never felt her leaving. She was always there. Her presence was always there. I never felt her gone. And life moved on. I'm going to make it very brief from this point forward. I got ill from 2012 till 2018. I was bedridden for 3 years, 2 years and 7 months. His grace, his Leela, the suffering became the reason why he came back in my life. So the Supreme Guru showed his presence in 2003, a fun puzzle. And then came 15 years later, when all the hospitals, when all the doctors, when all the temples, churches, mosques, Sufi homes, meditation centers, yoga centers, every door you can imagine, I knocked for help. All the hospitals in Germany, not all, most hospitals in Germany, Iran, and Canada, all hospitals in Toronto, I shouldn't say Canada. Every hospital, no doctor could heal what was happening. It started with a blood ailment, and they couldn't diagnose it, they couldn't understand why my platelets kept dropping. All his grace. And 6 years it happened, which I was bedridden for 12 months. Second episode, when it hit, I was bedridden for 11 months. And I lost my job, I lost my house, I lived on my own. I had the it life. I had the life. I felt like I got it all, and he took all that away for me to realize that none of that is happiness. Because I was empty. I really believe that, you know, I was a very materialistic girl, truth. I saw things, I seeked happiness in the materialistics. I thought the Mercedes was the car, and I was in a manager in a financial institution. I kept going, and none of it made me happy. And the second episode, when it hit, my blood issues, and blood is relevant to happiness. And I was so empty from within. All my life, I seeked for such happiness that I always looked for it in the materialistics, and whatever I went for, it left me drained. It lasted for a month, but it didn't. Relationships, everything you can think of, it just never satisfied me. There was something missing in my life, and I looked for it in every single thing that I knew it existed. And it's his blessing, and it's his relationship that carries with us. We have been with him, of course, again, he only knows, but that jewel is in us. And he comes to wake that up in us in this lifetime. And how blessed are we that we have him. We have everything. We have Maharaj, we have everything. And of course, I was looking for this everything, but I couldn't see it, I couldn't find it, it didn't last in the things that I went for. And suddenly, second episode, I started having severe insomnia. I maybe slept for an hour a day, an hour a night. And I would have a lot of mystical dreams. A lot of things that I would see would manifest. It would come in my life 3 months and a month later. Like I would see, for example, I would see being here before I actually came here. And it happened a lot. And so I was in a very confused state in my life that what's happening with me? What is it that I'm experiencing? And what happened, I need to wrap up. Okay. So I tried.
Finish the satsang, but finish the story though.
I will. And thank you. And so Maharaj, let's do it. We can do it. And so finally, I saw a white light. This is where I wanted to get. I saw a white light come on the second episode, and it's relevant to the third episode. I saw a white light come from outside my room, and it went into my body, and I healed the next day after 11 months. And because I was in and out of mental institutions by that time, because I had hit mentally, I couldn't tell anyone, and that was the toughest part for me. And the third episode, when it hit, it was 25th of December, 2017, and it lasted for 7 months. And in June month, suddenly, after when I put my white flag up and said, I'm done, I'm no longer fighting, it's okay, I surrendered. I realized that was my surrender. I just put my flag up and I said, I'm not going to churches anymore, mosques, temples, whatever. If this is my life on bed, I accept it. And that's when I suddenly had a vision of Maharaj. And I heard a voice say to me, pray to me. And I literally remember saying, you're the only supernatural being that I've seen. And it was confirmed, I'm not crazy, you help me. And how do I make it short? So 1st of July, Canada Day, he gets me to go and he leads my, I end up being at a church, and that church, he spoke in front of, I actually ran and fast walked and cried on the way to this church on 1st of July. And suddenly he spoke in front of thousands of people. It's called C3 Church. And he said, the girl who was playing the guitar said, somebody on the way to church today was crying and running. Your suffering is coming to an end, and land of grace is near. And I felt like that was for me. But of course, how could you believe such a thing? You've lived your life like that for so long. I didn't believe it. After I just came out and I sent a prayer that whatever, if this energy was for me, if God exists and you are real and you were talking to me, you need to give me something for eternity. Don't give me this 15-minute connectivity here in the church and then leave me dry. So I pretty much came out. My feet got locked in front of a bookstore called B&B Books. It's at Young and Bloor area, and I just couldn't go forward. And it's like, again, he takes over whatever Maharaj wants us to do, he will do through us. Whatever task he wants to complete through us, he will do. And that's when it happened. I was guided to go in the bookstore, and I'm standing in front of the spirituality section. Don't ask me again, making it brief. I was standing in front of the spirituality section, and I suddenly had a vision of white light from 2 years back when I was bedridden, and a book is manifested, because I was there for an hour, this book was not there, and I see a book right in front of me that says The Divine Light. I didn't read the Divine Light, just the light, and the light matched, and it's like, pick up the book. And I was telepathically being guided by Maharaj, like, very evidently that day. Pick up the book, make fun of the book, go home, never open the book, I leave it on the floor, and 5th of July, Maharaj shows me a dream. I had a dream of him even before I know who he is. And 2 days later, he guides me to open the book. I open the book, and it says Guruji's Lord Shiva. And I'm like, who's Lord Shiva? And I Google, again, telepathically, he's guiding me. Google Lord Shiva. I Google Lord Shiva, and that's when I see the third eye. And for me, it was like it's like the world just froze. And he makes it so fun, a puzzle. And I just literally said, look, if you are God, you need to show me something special. And at that moment, it said Guruji Maharaj's special day is July 7th. And I had opened his book on his birthday. And most of my ailments vanished that same day just by opening the book. So it's important we don't limit him. He has unlimited ways of blessing us. He doesn't need anything actually external. I just want to say one last thing. Maharaj guided me, of course, telepathically. When the book was done, I was like, look, you can't leave me here. I need more of you. And he said to me, again telepathically, go and search my name on Google. And I did. And that's when I called, no coincidences, Manish Uncle. And Maharaj has blessed us with such an amazing family that Manish Uncle said, look, he was the first person that I shared the satsang with. And he actually, I thought I was crazy. I thought I was the only one in this world that had this experience, and that I'm crazy. Like this, it's just me in this world. And how do I explain this, or how do I just be with other people that understand what I've experienced? Then Manish Uncle was like, look, can you please give me some time? I'm just gonna leave work to hear your satsang. And for me, that was so profound that somebody actually wanted to hear my satsang, to leave their work. And that changed everything from that day. So much Shukrana. Thank you, Guruji. Just Shukrana. I'm going to leave it at that. Just Shukrana. Whatever you're going through, good or bad, it's his way of blessing you. And he said it himself. Those who go through the squeezing of the lemon are most blessed. Because honestly, if I didn't have that suffering, I would have never been connected to him the way I am today. And Shukrana for that suffering. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you for leading this. Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji. Abhi langar prasad shuru hoga for seniors on the table on the right hand side. In the meanwhile, if someone wants to share their satsang, please come forward.
Aunties आ रहे हैं, आ जाओ. Yeah, please go ahead.
Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji, Shukrana for this satsang. I don't know, I'm literally trembling here now. What a coincidence. Jai Guruji, divine souls. Jai Guruji, San Auntie, where are you? Where is San Auntie? Hi. I have been listening to your satsangs on YouTube, and trust me, Guruji is really amazing. I don't know, I just wish that you show up in this mandir, I think 2 weeks back. Just 2 weeks back, I wish that you come to this mandir and we could hear you. And how lovely it is today. It's already 16th of May in India. It's a Monday. Shukrana, Guruji. It's the biggest blessing that I have got today. Sorry, I can't control myself. Today is my 38th wedding anniversary. And how he blesses you is amazing. Tuesday is my husband's birthday, which is the 17th. He got a second life, and I have to believe a lot in Sai Baba. He met with a big accident in 1993. I had actually got a license for chorus singing in Mumbai. You know, in Bollywood, you need to have a license for anything you want to work in. And that day, when he was getting operated, I just got my first assignment of chorus singing, and it was the Sai Baba bhajan cassette. All throughout, I was just doing the take and retakes along with the other people. You know, it's not very easy to just do one cassette. I was singing with the rest, and my husband was being operated. Today, with his grace, because he signed for me, my husband is well, there's no problem at all with him. Shukrana, 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 Guruji. I don't know how you connect and how you bless. One last thing, my husband had asked me, has any Muslim person followed Guruji? And guess what, today, he's sitting there and was son auntie over here with her satsang. Shukrana again, Guruji. Anantam Shukrana.
Happy anniversary, auntie, uncle. Aye, auntie.
She's visiting from India, Calcutta. Yes. Oh, sorry.
Jai Mandirji. I'm from Calcutta, India. It so happened that I was coming to Toronto. After 4 years to meet my son and my daughter-in-law. And because of the COVID, there was lockdown, we couldn't meet. So meanwhile, in these 4 years, uncle, my husband's health was deteriorating. And as the time was coming nearer, I was telling him, now pull up yourself, we have to go and meet our children. And just 3 days before the departure, I opened my Facebook and I read this satsang about this lady who made her husband wear Guruji's salute around his neck, and how he felt very sick, but he came out of it. And I felt, this is Guruji's sanket, he's telling me to do that. So I had Guruji's salute in the house. I quickly put it around his neck, and I told him that you must wear it. This is Guruji's sanket. So we started, we were supposed to catch an Air Canada flight from Delhi. And when we landed in Delhi, we had missed our flight because the flight was delayed, the weather was bad, and we were in the Delhi airport from 9:30 till 4 a.m. running around not knowing what to do. Ultimately, my son organized another ticket and we took the KLM flight, and it was a 10-hour flight. It so happened that as we were going to land in Amsterdam, 2 hours before, my husband started feeling very unwell. He became breathless, he started getting palpitation, and I didn't know what to do. He was deteriorating, and I asked him, would you like to land in Amsterdam and go be admitted to the hospital? I had to inform the authorities to arrange an ambulance. So he said, give me some time. He was very restless, he was going up and down, he couldn't sit on his seat. And that time, I just started doing mantra japa. And for 1 hour, I was just doing non-stop mantra japa. I said, Guruji, what will I do in Amsterdam if have to land there? I have nothing on with me, no dollars, nothing. So Guruji, you have to do something. You cannot just let me down now. And I was just crying and doing my mantra japa. And so happened, that time the food arrived. They were serving the food. I told my husband, sit and eat well, properly. And he started eating. I think it was Guruji's prasad. Because when he had started eating, after he finished, he got up and he said, I'm going to the washroom. And he took 15-20 minutes. I was very worried. We were nearing Amsterdam, we were going to land. He came out and he said, no, I'm absolutely fine. I'm absolutely fine. There's no problem. So I did Shukrana, Guruji. Thank you so much, Guruji. Shukrana, Guruji, Shukrana. We landed in Amsterdam and we managed to catch a Canada flight and we landed here. Thank you, Guruji. बहुत बहुत शुक्राना Guruji. Thank you, Guruji. शुक्राना.
आ जाओ अक्षय आंटी, आपका नंबर आ गया। अब बचपन के टाइम शुक्राना गुरुजी के आ रहा हूँ।
Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji. Guruji used to always say, सत्संग सुनाया करो, जो सत्संग सुनाते हैं, जो सत्संग सुनते हैं, उसमें बहुत blessings होती हैं. Guruji only knows best, but my family got connected to Guruji in 96, 97. I was about 9-10 years old and हम गुरुजी के साथ छोटे मंदिर जाते थे. My family is based in Kuwait. तो जब भी हमारी समर वेकेशन होती थी 4 महीने के लिए, हम लोग का एक रूटीन बन गया था कि हम दिल्ली जाते थे, वहाँ 4 महीने रहते थे नाना नानी के साथ. और my nanny took my mom and my mom, of course, we accompanied her. So we had some time with Guruji. So when we were small, I remember once हम लोग बैठे हुए थे. As kids हमें इतनी समझ नहीं है, राइट? हम वही करते हैं जो मम्मी पापा बोलते हैं. तो I remember Guruji once got up Empire State and he pointed at me and 2 more kids who were also my family friends from Kuwait, and he took us to his room पीछे. And उन्होंने वहाँ बैठ के अपना चोला ऊपर किया और हमें बोला कि मेरा जो टेबल एरिया है उसको स्मेल करो. जो हमें याद है कि the fragrance was of roses, and then he told us कि जाओ मेरी जुत्ती स्मेल करो. So we did that, but कुछ पता नहीं था क्या करें. We were just there because Mama was there. So like this, years went by, and I was an international student, and I came to Canada in 2005. And I was studying at York University, and I didn't have any immediate family here, nobody. I was just a student who came with 2 bags, and in 2009 I was supposed to graduate and then go back to Kuwait and be with my parents or go to India and stay there. So जब 2009 हुआ, my university went on strike. तो ना मैं graduate हो पा रही थी, ना मुझे कोई job दे रहा था because मैं international student थी. तो as 21-22 years old, you are very confused. और मैं बहुत confused थी और मुझे पता नहीं था कि मैं क्या करूँ. कोई बोलता था कि वापस चले जाओ, पता नहीं यूनिवर्सिटी कब शुरू होगी. 2 चक्कर तो मैं वापस लगा चुकी थी और लगता था स्ट्राइक खत्म होगी, चलो ग्रेजुएट हो जाएंगे, कोई हमें जॉब दे देगा. बिकॉज उस टाइम पे हम अप्लाई भी करते थे, कोई देखता था कि वो यॉर्क यूनिवर्सिटी अलग, क्योंकि उनको पता ही नहीं था हम ग्रेजुएट कब होंगे. सो September 2009, I was supposed to graduate in June 2009, जो नहीं हुआ. September 2009 में I got a dream of Guruji. And उस dream में he just said, मैं तेरे नाल हूँ, तू ऐथे रह. So dream आया and तब गुरुजी के सत्संग टोरंटो में नहीं होते थे. So I called my mom and I, sorry Guruji, but I actually said to him, I said, Mama, वो जो गंजे अंकल थे जिनके पास हम जाते थे, उनका मेरे को ड्रीम आया है. तो my mom said, अच्छा गुरुजी का ड्रीम आया है तो try and see वहाँ पर अगर कोई सत्संग हो रहा है. That's all she said. And then it just coincidentally happened कि जिस टाइम पे मुझे ये ड्रीम आया, कुवैत में गौरी आंटी हैं, उन्होंने वहाँ पे गुरुजी के सत्संग और वीकली बेसिस शुरू करे थे. एंड एक और आंटी हैं कुवैत में, अंजू आंटी, शी टुक माय मॉम एंड शी सेड, गीता आंटी लेट्स गो, मक्कोई इंडिया से गुरु आए हैं, वी हैव टू गो टेक हिज ब्लेसिंग्स. सो माय मॉम टुक माय यंगर ब्रदर एंड वो चले गए ब्लेसिंग्स लेने के लिए. जब वो वहाँ गए, उनको वहाँ जाके पता चला कि ये तो हमारे ही गुरुजी हैं और वो गुरुजी का सत्संग स्टार्ट हुआ है. एंड सो शी जस्ट स्टार्टेड क्राइंग एंड वहाँ बैठ गई. एंड वहाँ पे उनको किसी शब्द में उन्होंने सुना कि आप अगर अपने गुरु को भूल जाते, गुरु आपको कभी नहीं भूलता. सो शी केम बैक वेरी एक्साइटेडली एंड शी टोल्ड मी, गुरुजी के सत्संग आई एम श्योर होते हैं टोरंटो में, तो पता कर. तो मैं फेसबुक, गूगल, हर जगह पता किया, मुझे कुछ नहीं मिला. दिसंबर में जाके मुझे फेसबुक पे नाम आता है परम धारीवाल अंकल का. तो मैंने उनको कांटेक्ट किया और उन्होंने मुझे बोला, हाँ जी आंटी, जनवरी का जो फर्स्ट संडे है, मैं वहाँ पे सत्संग है, प्लीज़ कम. तो ऐसे कहाँ पे है? ही सेड ब्रैम्पटन में. तो ऐसे अच्छा, लाइक आई सेड मैं स्टूडेंट हूँ, मैं किसी फैमिली को नहीं जानती थी एंड ब्रैम्पटन मैं कभी नहीं गई थी 4 सालों में. तो मेरे को समझ नहीं आई मैं कैसे जाऊँ, बट एनीवेज मैं चली गई. सो आई थॉट कि चलो आई गो देयर 4 to 6 था एंड 4 o'clock मैं पहले पहुँच गई थी 3:30 एंड आई वाज लाइक गुरुजी कोई फैमिली जाएगी तो मैं उनके साथ चली जाऊँगी. मेरा इंटेंशन नहीं था कि मेरे को बस ये था, मेरे को मथा देखना है बिकॉज मम्मा हैज सेड एंड दैट्स इट. उसके बाद आई डिडंट प्लान और आई डिडंट हैव एनी इंटेंशन टू गो कीप गोइंग बैक टू सत्संग. तो 4:15 हो गए, मैं बाहर ही वेट कर रही हूँ कि कोई फैमिली जाए तो मैं उनके साथ अंदर जाऊँ, बिकॉज आई डोंट नो. कोई नहीं गया. आई वॉक इन एंड वहाँ पे छोटा सा गुरुजी का स्वरूप, एक टी लाइट कैंडल और सिर्फ 2 बेडशीट पड़ी थी और कोई नहीं था. आई वाज वेरी कंफ्यूज. मैं मत्था टेक के बैठी एंड देन वहाँ से परम अंकल आते हैं एंड ही सेड, जय गुरुजी आंटी, ये फर्स्ट सत्संग है और वैसे आपने सत्संग करने का कैसे सोचे थे? मेरे को ड्रीम आया था. ऐसे मुझे भी ड्रीम आया था. तो ऐसे हम उस टाइम पे सिर्फ 7 या 8 संगत थी. तो आई फेल्ट रियली गुड, आई फेल्ट वेरी पॉजिटिव एंड ही सेड कि प्लीज आंटी 2 हफ्ते बाद फिर से हम सत्संग करेंगे, यू हैव टू कम. सो अगेन आई वेंट. देन गुरुजी नोज व्हाई एंड my journey individual, I think जो individual एक surrendering journey होती है वो मेरी तब स्टार्ट हुई थी. तब हम सोचते थे कि गुरुजी आपकी संगत बढ़नी चाहिए, संगत बढ़नी चाहिए. एंड आई एम so grateful and today like I was doing Shukrana to Guruji because this is amazing the way Sangat is growing globally, not only here but globally. And it's आप कहीं भी कहीं जाते हो फैमिली कजन्स बाद में, बट पहले आपका भी कोई गोल दिल्ली में थी. एंड द मोमेंट आई लैंडेड आई वाज इन द इमिग्रेशन लाइन एंड सम आंटी जस्ट मस्ट हैव टर्न एंड सेड जय गुरुजी आंटी. एंड आई फेल्ट सो हैप्पी दैट बिफोर आई कुड इवन मीट माय फैमिली आउटसाइड, like I was waiting to meet them because 2.5 years today I did not fly back. I was too desperate to meet my parents, grandparents. The moment she said Jai Guruji, that was the first thing I heard the moment I landed in Delhi. I knew that I've come for Guruji, it's Guruji's blessings, all the time Shukrana to Guruji. Like San Auntie said, we can only do Shukrana and that's all. Rest he knows, but Jai Guruji, Shukrana.
Jai Guruji. Any other son that wants to share their satsang?
जय गुरुजी. मैं थोड़ा शॉर्ट में सुनाऊंगी सत्संग. अभी लास्ट मंथ एंड में हमने सत्संग किया था किचनर में और अमन आंटी से पूछ के मैंने डेट डिसाइड करी थी, टाइम डिसाइड किया था, हर चीज़ आंटी से पूछ के डिसाइड करी थी. और आंटी की तबीयत ख़राब हो गई लास्ट मिनट और आंटी ने ड्रॉप कर दिया. तो थोड़ी देर तक मुझे लगा वो आंटी नहीं आएगी तो कैसे होगा, क्योंकि मुझे लगा था आंटी के बिना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा सारी चीज़ें मैनेज करना। बट आंटी जरिया है ऑफ कोर्स, हर चीज़ गुरु जी खुद प्लान करते हैं, डेट भी खुद डिसाइड करते हैं, कैसे क्या करना है सब कुछ गुरु जी खुद डिसाइड करते हैं। तो अमन आंटी ने मुझे वतन अंकल का नंबर भेजा और बोला कि आप उनसे कनेक्ट कर लेना, वो वहीं रहते हैं तो आप उनके साथ मिलकर आप कर पाओगे। तो हर चीज़ हम अंकल से मैंने पहले जो चीज़ मेरे को चाहिए थी मैंने उनको फ़ोन पे सब बता दिया था कि मुझे ऐसे ऐसे चाहिए। और हमारा वो घर इट्स लाइक खाली था ऑफ कोर्स, तो हम वहाँ पे इट वाज लाइक गृह प्रवेश टाइप्स कह सकते हैं, सत्संग शुक्राना सत्संग हमने वहाँ पे किया। सरप्राइजिंग थिंग जो हमारे साथ उस दिन हुई, मतलब बहुत शॉकिंग थी हमारे लिए। हमने पूरी प्लानिंग कर ली, तो हम जब सारा सामान ले रहे थे मैंने सोचा था अमन आंटी को मैं बोल दूंगी डिस्पोजेबल लाने के लिए ना। आंटी का ड्रॉप हुआ, मैंने आसपास एक दो इंडियन स्टोर्स में चेक किया, मुझे नहीं मिले वो स्पेस वाली जो थाली होती है। तो हमने डॉलरामा से हमने वो अलग से कटोरी एंड प्लेट एंड सब कुछ ना अलग अलग से करके भी ले ली। और हमें कहा इट्स ओके, कोई बात नहीं, कोई भी डिस्पोजेबल जोन इट्स फाइन। सत्संग स्टार्ट जब लंगर का टाइम आया और हम डालने लगे तो प्लेट इतनी स्ट्रांग नहीं थी, इट वाज लिटिल वॉबली। तो मेरे मन में आ रहा अरे यार हमें दूसरी ले लेनी चाहिए। विद इन 5 मिनट्स जय भारत अंकल, पहले उनका फोन आया था, उनका प्लान ड्रॉप हो रहा था, वो नहीं आने वाले थे क्योंकि उनकी वाइफ को कोरोना हो गया था। और उनका फोन आया कि मैं थोड़ा कंफ्यूज हूँ कि मैं आऊँ या नहीं आऊँ क्योंकि मेरी वाइफ को कोरोना हो गया है। तो मैंने कहा आप बिल्कुल मत सोचो, आप आ जाओ और आपको आना है। और वो जब पहुंची और जब लंगर का टाइम आया और जब मैं वो डिस्पोजेबल उन्होंने देखा, उन्होंने बोला कि अपने बेटे, वो अपने बेटे के साथ आए थे, तो उन्होंने बोला कि वो गाड़ी से ना प्लेट्स ले आओ। तो मैं इतनी शॉक्ड हो गई, मतलब साहिल को 2 मिनट समझ में नहीं आया कि उनके बेटे ने आके बोला कि मैं ट्रे देता हूँ आपको। तो ही वाज लाइक ट्रे लाइक नॉर्मल सर्विंग ट्रे, तो बोलता ट्रे स्पेस वाली ट्रे। तो मैंने बोला अरे वो स्पेस, वो थाली बोल रहा है, वो थाली पड़ी है उसकी गाड़ी में। तो वो लेके आया, उसके बाद इतनी सारी डिस्पोजेबल प्लेट्स रखी थी गाड़ी में। और अंकल बोल रहे हैं कि मुझे नहीं पता 2 हफ्ते से मेरी गाड़ी में वो डिस्पोजेबल प्लेट रखी हुई है और मुझे रीजन नहीं पता कि क्यों रखी हुई है, मैं वो गाड़ी में लेके क्यों घूम रहा हूँ। और आई थिंक वो गुरुजी ही है, पता नहीं कैसे क्या चीज़ें करते हैं। और फिर वो उनका बेटा लेके आया। तो ये एक सत्संग हुआ हमारे साथ। और उसके बाद सब चीज़ें हो गई। तो कहते हैं अच्छा फिर आज तुम यहीं स्टे करने वाले हो? तो हमने कहा आज तो हम दरबार है, आज हम यहीं स्टे करेंगे। तो वहीं पर ही गद्दों पे हमने कहा हम सो जाएंगे। कहते तो तुम पिल्लो नहीं लेकर आए तो तुम कैसे सोओगे? तो मैंने कहा नहीं कोई बात नहीं, पिल्लो के बिना सो जाएंगे। कहते अरे मेरी गाड़ी में ना 2 पिल्लो भी पड़े हुए हैं। कहते मेरे वाइफ ने खरीदे थे 3 हफ्ते पहले, तब से वो गाड़ी में ही पड़े हुए। मैं मन में सोचती हूँ आज तक कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि मैंने किसी चीज़ की शॉपिंग करी हो और मैं गाड़ी में भूल गई हूँ और मैं गाड़ी से निकाली ही ना हो। मतलब मैं तो ऐसी छोटी सी चीज़ लाऊंगी, सबसे पहले मैं वो पैकेट उठाती हूँ गाड़ी में से कि आज मैंने ये नई चीज़ ली है, लेट्स टेक दिस इनसाइड। तो मेरे लिए इतना शॉकिंग था कि अंकल गाड़ी में 2 पिल्लो लेके घूम रहे हैं और वो हमें पिल्लो दे के गए कि नहीं ये गुरुजी ने तुम्हारे लिए भेजा है, ये 2 पिल्लो तुम यही आराम से सोना आज। और तो ऐसी छोटी छोटी चीज़ें गुरुजी करते रहते हैं, वो तो बहुत माइन्यूट चीज़ें सोचने के लिए, बट ऐसे छोटे छोटे मिरेकल्स लाइफ में होते रहते हैं। और गुरुजी बहुत अच्छी अच्छी चीज़ें ब्लेस करते हैं। तो शुक्राना टू गुरुजी फॉर एवरीथिंग एवरीथिंग। थैंक यू।
जय गुरु जी। और कोई संगत अपना सत्संग शेयर करना चाहते हैं? Anyone? थैंक यू। शुक्राना गुरु जी। आइए
आधे जी प्लीज यहाँ पे लंगर के लिए कम ऑन गाइस, थैंक यू सो मच।
जय गुरु। सत्संग शेयर करना तो गुरुजी के बोल दिया लगता है करना पड़ेगा। I know the very day is a satsang पहले तो audio visual film of गुरुजी मंदिर टोरंटो, my most favorite Penny Bakshan Hara Akde Data Bakshite. Every time, whenever I go through anything, this is the shabad which goes in my mind and on my lips. Penny Bakshan Hara Akde Data Bakshite. बस हमें वही मांगना है actually. So as Samantha also said, he seems like a lemon. Yes, he does that. मैंने तो गुरुजी करो, but इतना ज़्यादा मत करना. Cheat sheet साथ में दे देना, ताकि अपना exam का paper का result हम बता सकें. So too many such things happens, but some are in progress. One which happened just 2 days before. Again, I was not to share. As of now, I was not ready, but I think. So I was working with CIBC Melon and till Friday, and मन नहीं लग रहा था क्योंकि ये रोल वो satisfaction नहीं दे रहा है. So I'm waking up with no happy moment कि यार ये को क्या वो करेगा. तब तक एक होता है satisfaction नहीं होती to the day, no planning, process oriented organization नहीं है. That's the way it is actually. But because this job actually I got when I was 7 weeks, 7 months out of my job due to COVID, I was being asked to leave, and then it happened to me. So I was like emotionally also attached because this job came to me when actually I wanted that, and we were actually broke that time. We were not able to pay our mortgage as well because it's very difficult to pay your mortgage if you are without a job for a longer time. And we were like thinking, how would it happen? See, sir helped us, but that's not something which you have family to pay your bills and every single thing. So I said, no, I'm not going to be ditching them because this is a very important job for me. And I was like trying to cope up. Every morning I used to think, no, this I can do it. Guruji, you will make me do it. Obviously, the whole attention was in Guruji. I'm like, I'm in a meeting. I'm sorry, but Guruji, maaf karein. I'm on WhatsApp, someone is saying, Prashad, someone is saying, Jai Guruji, someone is saying, Auntie, can you talk? And my attention is just going into that. And I कहती oh my God, 3-4 दिन हो गए and I have not completed my work. What's going to happen? And the deadline has come in. So I used to see my calendar. Okay, my next meeting is on this day. I will work towards the week to that day. But till the end, I'm not working. So 1 hour before, I'm sitting and making my slides. So just for everyone, I'm a project manager. So like I'm at these things, and I'm making my slide and I'm thinking, where will I get data? Suddenly some mail pops up, data comes in. So Guruji is doing all the job while he's making me one of the Zarya to, do the other things and try to make the things happen the way it should be. So this happens and, I'm thinking, wish someone calls me, come back to my company, why you left us, why don't you come us? And suddenly, 2 weeks before, my ex-manager reached out to me, and I thought I had burned the bridges with him, but actually it was not the case. And I was telling my husband, I think I have burned the bridges because why are they not calling me? I was a good employee, and your mind always works that way. And my manager calls, would you like to join? And the role was the cybersecurity role. And what to do now? Should I leave it? Should I, break this contract and go there? What should I do? And I was in a fix. But I don't know. They just called me in an informal interview and they just said, we want you in our team. And the role was so exciting. I said, Guruji, what should I do? And he said, Tenu kya na? Ash kar. This is like, you are answering my question. And without even thinking, I just had put in my papers. And tomorrow, which is 16th, which is also a good Purnima, I'm starting that role. How he makes these things happen, how that is happening, the role I was dreaming about, because I did my certification and I wasn't able to explore that. So tomorrow I'm starting with Guruji's grace. So it's always Shukrana. Obviously, when you don't think, things happen. When you just put a request, even in your weirdest thought, he makes that happen. I used to see, listen, think that, Guruji, ऐसे कैसे होता है कि आप कहते हो ऐसे हो जाता है, ये चीजें possible हो जाती हैं, but we are witnessing every day the way things happen. आपने एक request डाली group में, the way something turns out, and it said, yeah, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? The moment I think Guruji, and for you also, Sanati, I told you to come to Mandir, and she hasn't come, Guruji. Am I making any problem? Is there some problem? Is what we are doing? We keep thinking that way, and suddenly Sanati comes in. suddenly some auntie comes in. I always love to listen to the Sangat who's Guruji's Chole Wali Sangat, because 2 years we haven't been able to, not even went to Bade Mandir. So I don't know how Bade Mandir is. It's just a feeling. It's a feeling which is, and suddenly someone comes in, some Chola Sangat comes in and share their satsang. So this is what Guruji is. You think aloud and he makes that happen. So once again, hats off to all the Sagadars and audio-visual team for beautiful, beautiful, beautiful playlist always. And thank you, Raghav, for making this environment such vibrant. Thank you so much, every single person. Jai Guruji. Let's एक बार Jai Guruji बोलते हैं सर उनके. Jai Guruji. Thank you. Anyone wants to share?
Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji. I have started my journey with Guruji 2 months back. I got to know about Guruji through one of my friends when I landed here in Canada. Megha auntie, she is not come today. So she kept asking me to एक बार temple आ जाओ, and I used to linger on that yeah I'll come, but I didn't turn up. Then one fine day she called me and she said, Shilpa, today we were discussing about doing satsang. So कल तुम्हें आना ही है because Guruji is calling you. So I said okay, I'll come. And since then I started coming here regularly, and I couldn't resist myself. Then I was listening to all the satsangs, and I was thinking that when I get a chance to share my satsang, so Guruji gave me a chance today, and I'll tell you how I got my first swarup, because I didn't know anything about Guruji. So I was saying to Guruji that Guruji, can I have your one swarup at least? Then Akansha auntie was sitting next to me, and she was meditating. The moment satsang got over, she told me that I have one swarup of Guruji and I am going to give you that swarup. So Jai Guruji. Then thank you Akansha auntie for sharing that swarup with me. Then second time I was very upset when I came to the satsang, and I was thinking, Guruji, I was saying to Guruji that if you can listen to me, at least give me some signal that here you can hear me. Then Manika auntie came to me, and then she handed over the swarup to me. Shukrana Guruji. And then I became a little greedy. I was asking Guruji, can I get your smiling swarup? Because I got connected with that swarup very much. And you won't believe, after a week, I met Richa auntie, and she told me that from few days she's getting this message that she has to give that swarup to me, pointing to the same swarup. So thank you Richa auntie for sharing that swarup with me. Thank you all, Shukrana Guruji, for taking me under your wings. Thank you.
और कोई संगत अपना सत्संग शेयर करना चाहते हैं? थैंक यू, जय गुरुजी, शुक्राना गुरुजी।